Hello, everybody. Here we are. This is the fourth episode of Pai Love Story. You might be wondering why there is no intro, the music. I have to tell you that I had a incident. My laptop just shut off, black screen, and then it couldn't work even if I tried to connect to another screen. So I just have to do this on my cell phone right now. And then who is sitting with me is a Australian guy that I happen to have the pleasure to meet this week. And then I immediately invited him to my podcast, and he's sitting with me, and then let's just let him speak a little bit more about his Pai Love story, his experience. But first of all, give us some background of you.
Sure. So my name's Craig. I'm 37. I've been living in Australia for 14 years and originally from Northern Ireland. I've been on a deep journey of self-exploration now for about 6 years or so. I'm going to retreats and practicing breathwork and discovering Tantra fairly recently. Really just learning to make peace with myself and my childhood and my wounding, and to become a more wholesome and complete human, I would say, is my purpose in life at this time. So I came to Pi to go on a authentic relating retreat, actually for my birthday, and it's a birthday present to myself. And I've been on this real deep journey of solitude for about sort of 18 months to 2 years now. Just really, learning to become more comfortable in my own skin and not seek out friendships to fill a hole, but to find that wholeness within myself so that I can have connections and relationships in my life that are coming from a place of fullness. So I came to this retreat, on that period of solitude and craving connection deeply. And this retreat and my time in Pi since then has met and surpassed those needs beyond anything I could ever have imagined. It's been a really, really, really special time, and I'm so thankful to be here and to have connected so deeply with a beautiful group of people. That's led me to here talking to you.
Nice. Okay, so I'll refer him as Craig.
Yeah, you
right,
can call
Craig.
me Craig or Craigles.
Craigos, Craigos, so cute. Yeah, so Lilia here. Actually, I heard about the retreat because I'm also friends with Luna and Tristan. So shout out to Luna and Tristan if you're listening to this podcast. I actually also send you a link to Tristan. But anyways, they are amazing couple. Happened to met them through their book release party. So actually the first time I met Tristan, it was at his birthday party at his house. He has a gigantic, really beautiful house, overlook the pine nature, and has a really beautiful design pool. That was my impression. And later, it was actually on my birthday, December 16th, Luna released her book, the
Liberated Sensualist.
Sensualist. Yeah. Right. I only read the first chapter. I'm sorry, I'm so late for that book. So slow on book reading, but I'm really glad that I get to know a little bit about this Tantra philosophy, because before I thought Tantra was all about sex position and stuff like that. I think that's one of the common misunderstandings to Tantra. But what I learned about Luna was actually really eye-opening. It's just to train your, kind of like a training through your sensations, through your awareness, to feel like you are in one with the nature, one with everybody, in one with the things that you touch. So we were practicing making love while eating a chocolate, and making love while we are breathing. And then it was really interesting. Could you also talk a little bit about your idea about this Tantra philosophy?
Sure. So for me, when I first heard of Tantra a number of years ago, it was probably just wild orgies and all sorts of crazy sexual shit. It turns out that's not the case at all, although that can be part of it. It's not exclusively it. So my understanding is that there's really two branches of Tantra in the modern times. There's classical Tantra, which is really all around like awareness and connecting with your senses and being connected to life, and this like three-dimensional reality we live in is also an expression of the divine, and so we should revere it and worship it as such. Neo Tantra is more in the realm of like relating and sexual connection and exploring that sort of thing. But there is some crossover, but I'm by no means an expert. So yeah, maybe Luna would
I
be a
have
better.
to get Luna interested into our show.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I would also just like to give Tris and Luna a really big shout out. Like the space that they hold and the retreat that they ran was just absolutely incredible. And the retreat was 4 days long, and by the end of the first day, there was 6 of us, 3 men and 3 women. And by the end of the first day, we were enmeshed in this beautiful cuddle puddle and so deeply connected with each other. It was so sweet and lovely. And yeah, these guys have become now like really deep friends for life now because of the space that they created, and the way they guided us through different exercises into like expressing vulnerability and challenges, and yeah, leaning into things that we were maybe avoiding in ourselves and being seen in different expressions of ourselves that maybe we're like unfamiliar with expressing. And yeah, I think through that sort of shared vulnerability and shared openness and reflecting with each other, I've learned that is just the most beautiful way to deepen a bond with someone is through vulnerability. So yeah, be vulnerable, everyone.
That's true. I think if we spend like 40 minutes before the show, we were already being very vulnerable with each other. Talk about pain and grief, and well, I lost a lot of people in my life. My ex-husband, my parents, lost business, lost home, lost a lot of friendship, and then that was a huge grief. But actually, I found the grief is that this thing that actually give me strength to discover more about myself, more about the world, and I've always said that this is like kind of like a euphoric experience that I couldn't have imagined, because sometimes we just avoid pain. We want to go into pleasure, but actually we both learn a lot through pain. But since the podcast name is Pai Love Story, I want to maybe dig in a little bit about like how you arrive in Pai. Why is Pai influencing you in this big way? Can you talk a little bit about your journey coming to
Yeah,
Pai?
of course. So yeah, around about 7 or 8 months ago, I started doing a coaching program with Tris, who supported me through a lot of blocks that I was experiencing in my life. And yeah, this is really my first deep dive into like tantric philosophy and embodiment practices in such a way that we experienced. And yeah, eventually he told me he was running a retreat in Pai, which I'd never heard of, and I'd never been to Thailand before. And it just so happened to be on the same week as my birthday. So I just thought, fuck it, I'm going to go to the retreat as a birthday present for myself. So yeah, I came to Pai, and when I arrived here, I was feeling really, really out of sorts. I was feeling really like alone in my heart and just yearning for connection, having been on this period of solitude, which has served me so greatly. Also saying that, I've probably gone too far in one direction, and now, my heart is yearning to be connecting with other people, but more from a place of fullness than a need to fill this hole. So yeah, I got to Pai, and yeah, I went to a kirtan on my first night by myself and had a beautiful experience there, just softening my heart and just noticing just how open and how much love there is shared around people in this beautiful town. Like there's so much openness and people looking at you in the eye from all different parts of the world as well. And in comparison to where I live in Australia, there's not a lot of that happening. People are like really distracted and staring at phones and blah blah blah. I'm guilty of it too. But here, there's people are more deeply present, and I can really feel that. And being in an environment like that, I feel it's just softened my own heart and helped me deepen into my own presence and meeting strangers. And yeah, then obviously the retreat, which started a couple of days after I got here, like I could talk about the retreat experience for days. And to tell you the truth, it's still integrating. There's still a lot of stuff to be processed and reflected on. Once I leave Pi, I think that will inevitably set the process in place. But yeah, what I realized mostly through this retreat is that there's so many different forms of love. You know, there's like romantic love, there's there's love that you can express with someone that's like older than you, someone that's the same age, someone that's the same gender, someone that's a different gender. Um, yeah, I mean, I've experienced so many different types of love here, and they're all equally as beautiful, you know, and it's really given me like so much hope for the future and so much clarity moving forward in terms of like the type of life that I want to be living. You know, I'm really focused on becoming the best version of myself, but if I'm not doing that to be loving with other people around me, like what's the actual point in that? I don't understand the point in that. But I think also on the journey of healing and unraveling, I do feel like a period of solitude is absolutely necessary to really like face your stuff and face your pain, your grief, whatever it is that's holding you back, and then coming out back into the world as this new expression of yourself or of myself. And I'm finding that I'm now able to meet people on a much deeper level than what I could before. And I've always been a really deep person. I've never enjoyed small talk. I've never enjoyed that game. Like I can't play that game. I just can't do it. So I kind of struggle a little bit out in the everyday world, like making connections, because it's like, how do you start a connection when really all you want to know is what's going on inside someone's heart and soul?
Start a podcast.
You can't really open up with that, you know, unless it's a podcast like this. But yeah, this trip here has really shown me how deeply I have the capacity to meet other people. And I'm so thankful for that, because now I know like there's a baseline now moving forward in my life that I'm not going to settle for less than that. And I'd rather be alone than settle for connections that aren't meeting that very basic but profound need, which is to be met in the heart. So yeah, thanks to Pi for giving me that beautiful lesson.
Nice. Yeah, for me, I'm also very surprised that I really attract a lot of people who just don't want small talk, you know, they just want to know the deepest, like, yeah, the level in your soul, and then how can we start that up and then have a conversation and then also both learn from that conversation and experiences. Why do you think Pi attracts so many spiritual seekers, lovers, and free spirits?
That's a good question. I actually I don't know the answer to like maybe how that first became a thing, but I know like that there is an energy here that's like really open. There's a lot of people, like free spirited people, just seem to coalesce around this place, and I don't know how that began, how that first took form, but that is how it is here. There's so many like creative people and musicians and people that are just like, fuck the system. I'm done with that. And I'm looking for a new way. And I think in a deeper level, I've been looking for that for quite some time as well. And so to have been exposed to so many new people at different places, both at the retreat, after the retreat, seeing people that are just on this journey of how to live life in a way that is maybe more deeply authentic to the soul instead of the construct we've got there in the West. And yeah, there's something here that is it holds that energy of like, this is possible. Come here and see it for yourself. A lot of people are coming and going, but for some reason, even within all that sort of the transient nature of people being here, there's a permanence that, you know, seems to have just stuck around, and it doesn't make sense on a logical level, but
We call that pie hole.
yeah, it's called the pie hole, and yeah, I've definitely got sucked into the pie hole, and I'm so happy to have to have been here and stayed for actually longer than my trip was originally intended to be. But I think I'm not uncommon in that, because yeah,
You're not.
I've spoken to heaps of people, and I think there was one point when I changed my plans to go home, and within 2 days, like two of the people from the retreat had changed their plans to leave as well, and it's like, okay, I guess we're all staying for another whatever amount of time. So yeah, there's something about this land and the people, Buddha's statues everywhere, and just, yeah, the Thai people are super sweet, and I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on the exact reason for this place being how it is, but there's something special here, and I kind of want to tell everyone, but I kind of don't want to tell everyone because I want it to stay the way it is. And I know when, like, naturally, when too many people come to a place, it dilutes it. and you kind of sometimes can lose the essence. So I'm in two minds of how much to share Pi, or I'll just be like, hey, I went to Thailand and it was amazing. I'm not sure. I'm still figuring that out.
Me too. Unless my podcast becomes super popular, then I would probably create a sensational a tourist groups coming in and coaches
Yeah.
the huge bosses coming through, but the journey to Pi is also not easy. So I say people who come here and then survive through that journey of 762 turns is it's already kind of special.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely not easy to get here. Like the road here is a long and winding and sometimes a little bit of a dangerous one, but it's kind of a nice metaphor for life actually. Like you're not going to get to the magic in your life unless you go through the difficult and the maybe you'd rather take the freeway or the well-built road that's smooth and straight, but that's not going to. It's like there's a quote like a rough seas or smooth seas don't create a good sailor.
Oh wow!
And
I love it.
I think that's the metaphor. That's that's it.
You describe it so well.
Thank you.
Okay, so Pai Love Story. Do you have a memorable love story that happened here in Pai?
That's so many, to be honest. Like there's been so many moments and so many people, but yeah, I guess I really just got to start with the guys from the retreat.
Shout out to them.
Shout out to each of them. Like amazing humans doing the work and choosing to open and be in their hearts. And yeah, being around people like that or who are as committed to unraveling and being their truest expression for me has been so inspiring and liberating. And we've had like so many cuddle puddles and so many like really deep and vulnerable conversations. And even outside of the retreat, it's like we've continued the retreat. And these guys have become like some of the deepest connections I have in my life. And I've only known them for not even 3 weeks. In some level, it doesn't make sense. But, on another level, I think when you meet in a space that's like a retreat, there's an ability to form like a foundation of a connection that's rooted in depth and authenticity. So you kind of skip the need for the shallow small talk. Hey, what have we got in common? Well, here, what we have in common is that we are deeply committed to getting ourselves out of that and into this and being in our hearts and being real and creative and, whatever else. So yeah, big reverence to everyone from the retreat, to Tris and Luna, the friends that I've made and, friends that I made outside of the retreat as well. There's heaps of people that's kind of just like joined our little crew and, we go out for dinners together and just have really expansive chats. And yeah, I met this beautiful woman as well. And yeah, she was friends with one of the guys that went to the retreat. And we embarked on this really like short, but really deep and beautiful connection of just like beautiful conversations and touch. And it was just really, 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 really sweet. And for me, the big, I guess if we want to call this a love story, it's more, I'm now meeting my own heart in such a level that it's giving me the capacity to meet others on a much, much deeper level. And so these connections that I've created are feeling so profound in my soul and my heart. And it's because of all the love that I've given myself over the years by, listening to my pain, acknowledging it, seeing it, healing my inner child, facing my parent wounds, dealing with addiction problems and choosing over and over and over again to take the hard road, and through that then integrating things that have been not comfortable for me, becoming more comfortable in my own skin, and then finally starting to see other people as safe. Like my whole life, I've carried a real like deep distrust for people because of my childhood programming. And now in this beautiful, beautiful town, my whole narrative around that, not mentally, but in my nervous system, is that people can be extremely safe to be around. And when you're in that space of safety with others, it just creates an opening and a space for so much healing and so much authenticity. And yeah, I mean, sometimes it's really hard to articulate the profound nature of some things. And whilst I'm saying a lot of stuff here, I don't think what I'm saying is quite touching the essence. But yeah, maybe you can decide for yourself. But yeah, it's been a really, really special time here. And I'm thankful to, Rowan and Roman and Eugene and Jane and Adriana and myself, beautiful Nicole, and yeah, and all the other little crew that dropped into our little love bubble. It's been so sweet. And yeah, I'm leaving tomorrow morning, actually. This is my last day here. And there's a real bittersweet feeling of like, yeah, I don't want to leave the bubble, want to stay in this forever. But also, like, this has been a little bubble that's been so healing. And now it's like, okay, well, how can I now transmit that and integrate that into my own life that I have outside of Pi? I work FIFO, I work in the mines, so I'm at work 2 weeks at a time. I'm home for a week. So there's a lot of solitude there, and working in a pretty unconscious environment, and then coming home and dealing with exhaustion and wanting to rest, but also wanting to connect, but not having the capacity. And I'm seeing clearly that the life that I've created, whilst it's served me in so many ways, it's now got to the point where it's actually a hindrance to the life that I want to be living and the life I want to create. So Pi has shown me what's possible. And now the opportunity is for me to go out there and create that for myself. And I know the guys that I've met here in Pi will 100% be part of that journey. We're all going to catch up again. I know it in my heart. Maybe we'll do another retreat together again, and we'll deepen those practices, or maybe we'll just go exploring the world together, or who knows? There's infinite possibilities. But I now have this beautiful group of people that I've got such a deep and profound imprint with, that anytime I forget, because it is our nature as humans to forget our nature from time to time, or a lot of the time, is I've got these people that I can look at, feel in my heart, look at photos, have conversations, share voice notes, and it will always, always take me back to this time and the memories now that live in my body from all the cuddles and all the lovely hugs and moments of deep connection. It's like, yeah, this now I can feel it. Like it lives in my body. There's a safety now that lives in my body that I've never felt that depth of before. Certainly not for this amount of time. Coming out of a breathwork session, sure, there's this feeling of openness and expansion, but often then life gets in the way again. You got to pay bills, and you got to drive in traffic, and you got to get up for work, and blah, blah, blah. And, it chips away at that really quickly, or it can do. But yeah, being here and not having those triggers and just being able to deepen into that without the outside noise it's been so transformational. I could say more, but I don't know. It's amazing. I'm so happy.
Yeah, amazing. Because I also had similar experiences, but I have to say that um I'm sure you can create that experience over and over again, because it really happened to me. Now you've done the work on yourself, and then you experience all these feelings. You don't escape it. And for my experiences, I really worked on myself and be very aware. And then I create deeper and deeper experience each time I meet new people. And then that is forever going to belong to me. Forever is going to live in my body. I kind of wish more people that can really tap into the self-discovery journey, and then work on yourself, like know your sexuality, explore your sexuality, explore the world, explore other people, talk to as many people as you can, experience all the pain and grief that you can. And then you would just like create more and more deeper experience and beautiful experience for yourself. That's my encouragement, and also my last words before you leave in Pi, And I know you are going to meet more amazing people, since now your heart is open, and stay open.
Yeah, this is now my challenge in life is, yeah, how do I move through my journey in a way that allows my heart to stay open? Because yeah, I've really fallen in love with my heart, to be honest, over the last probably 12 months or so. And yeah, now there's this openness to share that with others. It's like, okay, this kind of feels like just the beginning of my journey, actually. It feels like I've reached a new layer, or a new chapter, or some newness is here. So yeah, I'm deeply excited to see what is to come in the future, and I'm here for it, and I also know that, like, one of the biggest things that I've learned on this journey is the most effective way to connect to that part of yourself is to not actively seek it, but to actively seek the things that are in the way of it. So if you want to feel depth and love and connection in your heart. It's like, instead of seeking that specifically, it's like, okay, well, what things are actually getting in the way of that? Is it like grief? Is it insecurity? Is it anger? Like, what are the things that are regularly showing up in your life emotionally that are preventing you from having the life that you want? And I know for certain, for my own experience at least, that in feeling all of the feelings that live inside your body, and it will get really freaking messy at times, and that's okay. But in giving yourself full permission to feel all of it, you actually just open up this beautiful, clear channel which allows love to just flow through you, through me, through all of us, because we are at our essence made of pure, unconditional love that just loves nothing more than connecting on that level with other people. Like, for me, there is nothing more beautiful in life than heart connection with heart-centered people. Yeah, it's the biggest thing that this trip has given me is really diving into that ocean of love with others, and different forms of people and different forms of love. And it's all the same, but it's different. And we all keep coming back to it. Breathing together, feeling together, singing together, like just these little micro moments of profound intimacy that it's like, oh, actually, this whole life I've been trying to chase complex ideas and complex concepts, but realistically, the essence of it all is simplicity. It's just coming back to this moment, this conversation, this eye contact, and remembering that we're all here to just walk each other home, like Ram Dass says. It's like we're all here to support each other in becoming our true authentic selves, and that starts with us becoming our true authentic selves, which in turn gives other people permission to do the same. So we all inspire each other, and I think the best thing that any of us can do as a service to humanity and to life itself is to allow life to express itself through us in the way that is most authentic for you. And more often than not, that will look like just being a really loving person. But sometimes we got to unravel lots of shit to get to that point and see it. But I'm in this moment, at least, I'm seeing that very, very, very clearly. So thank you, Pai, for that beautiful, beautiful soul lesson. And yeah, I'm so thankful. Like, I just can't express enough gratitude, to be honest. Yeah.
So, our listeners, they really love stories. Can you give us a story that, um, the most beautiful moment that you experienced between between the participants in the retreat, or your love story with someone that you met here?
The most beautiful moment on this trip. Oh, wow. That is a really difficult question to answer. Honestly, that is,
Difficult, also good.
yeah, I mean, difficult in the best way imaginable. There's such a catalog of special moments, but I would say for me, probably the most beautiful moment, or at least one of them, the last night of the retreat, we were all sitting together around a fire, and yeah, since COVID, I haven't celebrated my birthday in a way that I wanted to. It's a long story I won't get into, but COVID affected my birthday, and I haven't celebrated my birthday since, and it's always caused me like sadness. And so the last night of the retreat, my birthday was the next day. The guys came out with this beautiful birthday cake and sang happy birthday to me. And they gave me a card that said they had booked an Airbnb for a couple of nights and we were going to continue being together. And I was so deeply touched by that. So deeply touched that they all made the effort to make that happen for my birthday. And then we went to the house together. And at the stroke of midnight, we all got in a circle and they put me in the middle of the circle, and I had happy birthday sang to me in like 6 different languages. And it all, like, there was Romanian, there was English, there was Arabic, there was
Korean.
French, there was Korean, and there was one more, and I can't remember what it was, but it's okay. It was amazing. I just felt so seen and loved. And yeah, I think it was in that moment and the whole day where I just felt so loved and cared for and seen and acknowledged and valued. That was probably the most beautiful moment, because not only did it heal this wound I have with my birthday, but it really showed me clearly that I am so lovable and so loved. And that's really, really, really special. And yeah, I just also like to give like a special mention to Nicole, who I spent a few days connecting with and exploring, and just a really, really sweet, lovely, present, grounded, sweet connection. It's so sweet, like such a sweet connection. And we had just like so many amazing conversations and cuddles and just exploring touch in a way that was really present and grounded and not trying to force or make anything happen, which is different for me because I found in the past, maybe with connecting with someone, that there's this desire to go to the next bit, go to the next bit. But in this, we were just so in where we were without any need to do anything differently. It just felt so natural and lovely. And yeah, that's for me also another template of the base level of what I'm going to settle for now moving forward. So yeah, big shout out to you, Nicole, sweetheart. You are an awesome human. I appreciate you so much.
It's definitely going to listen to this episode. Yeah. So we tap a little bit onto the intimacy, especially before the podcast interview. You said that you feel that the turn on energy from the base of your, how you call this part, the hip, and then the sacrum, and then also like how to utilize that energy. Why do you think that intimacy, like cultivate that intimacy with ourselves and the intimacy with others, so important?
Wow, that's a great question. I mean, for me, if I speak about my own journey, I've mostly always been a person that's been like connected to my heart, and that manifested in like a lot of people pleasing and a lot of like just being a yes man and being a bit of a pushover and a doormat. And yeah, there was two levels to that. There was one part of me that loves to give and loves to share and be supportive and loving. And then there was another part of me that was like alone and wanted connection. So it's like, well, if I show up in a certain way, maybe I'll get the love that I so deeply desire. So there was this dance between, giving from a place of fullness and giving from a place of emptiness. And that sort of flip-flop back and forward thing, it always created like tension in connections that I had. I also found throughout my life, there was always like blockages around my sexual energy coming from like ancestral trauma, like really deep stuff. Um, that, yeah, affected how I was able to connect to myself. There was a lot of shame, a lot of fear, and specifically, just from the nature of my childhood, a lot of anger. And what I found on my journey in the last 12 months, when I finally connected to like healthy rage for the first time in my life, like expressed rage in such a way that was not harmful to anyone, was completely just experiential without stories and without projecting onto anyone. It was just, here's the emotion and I'm feeling it so fully. Yeah, about 12 months ago, I gave myself full permission during heartbreak to feel everything, whatever it was. And I found that connecting to this rage, it almost opened like a valve in my sacral, where I then started feeling like deep sexual energy and creative energy and curiosity. And I felt extremely powerful and alive and just like, wow, what the hell is this energy that's coming out of me right now? And what it was just a lifetime of suppressed energy from this part of my body that was blocked by anger and shame above that. Because for me, it was, yeah, a lot of anger at my childhood, but then also a lot of shame because I witnessed anger as a kid in a way that was really hurtful and harmful. And also, I've projected my own anger at people in my life that's been really hurtful and harmful. So I felt shame around that. But this anger got so strong that it just shattered all barriers to this part of my body. And then I went on my first Tantra retreat in Bali and had this incredible experience of like moving energy up and down my body and feeling so deeply connected to my sexual energy, and not necessarily just like being, desire for another human, but just like almost like an intimacy with life itself, almost like, and I wrote this in my journal when I had this like full-on cosmic orgasmic state on the retreat. I don't even know how else to describe it, but it felt in that moment like I was making love to the universe through my body. Like my body was this vessel that was just love that was being given. I don't know how else to express it.
What was the exercise that you did?
The exercise, it was like, so I was sitting with, I had a female partner and we were sitting cross-legged in front of each other, and we were breathing opposite. So when I was breathing in, she was breathing out, and we were holding hands. And my job in that was to lead the breath. So I would raise her hands and move towards her when she was to breathe in, and then move towards me when I was breathing in. And or the visual that we were encouraged to create was that when we were breathing out, we were sending energy into the other person. And when we were breathing in, we were breathing in the energy that was being sent by the other person. So we started breathing from our sacral, and we're breathing, and feeling really safe together, and it was beautiful. And so yeah, we're exchanging breath, and I'm like feeling like, yeah, I'm feeling turned on by life in this moment, and also a little bit turned on by this woman who was incredibly beautiful, and I had a really nice connection with as well. And so almost like using that energy to guide the breath, breathing into this feeling and breathing that feeling out to her. And we just went on this crazy like spiral, this expansive spiral where by the end of it, we're both like breathing, exhaling so loud, feeling so like connected yet in our own energy. And yeah, I realized like for that state of like fullness and that like, yeah, let's call it cosmic orgasm, I think you need masculine and feminine uniting. And I think that can apply within, because we have those energies inherent inside ourselves, so we can create that inner union. But there's also the outer union when you can share that with another person. And whilst there was no sort of sex happening in that moment, there was an abundance of sexual energy being exchanged back and forth between us. And as we continued to breathe into that, it got bigger and louder and stronger, to the point where I was just like, my whole body was shaking. It's like I was having almost like a fit. It wasn't a fit, but I was vibrating from my sacral the whole way up my spine, my arms, my feet, my whole body was vibrating in a way that was, I wasn't controlling it. I was observing my body do this, and it felt absolutely amazing. Like I've never felt in my life from that moment in the weeks after the retreat. I've never felt so alive in my life. And I know like a big part of my journey now is unraveling all that trauma and tension that exists in there, and connecting more deeply to that energy in myself, and then sharing that with a partner as well. And I think that's like aspirational stuff. That's really where I want to get to in my life. And yeah, this last year has shown me so much of what's really possible for a human to experience. Like there's so much more to this life than getting up and paying bills and driving to work and, you know, picking up the mail and doing the groceries. Whilst these things are necessary, there's so much more going on in life, and most of it we can't actually see, but we can tune into it. And it all starts with the breath. It all starts with the breath. I feel like taking a deep breath in and just letting it out nice and softly, like, like it is the greatest gift you can give yourself, is conscious breathing. It enables us to connect more to our body, regulate our nervous systems. Breathing deeply allows us to feel deeper. And when we feel deeper, we can express more. And often that looks like expressing stuff that's been suppressed, which is healing. And often it looks like expressing our true authentic self. And sometimes you got to get through one to get to the other. But yeah, breathe deeply, feel it all. Make love to life through your breath.
Amazing. Wow. Yeah, this incredible like skill that you have taken away from Pi, and then you are ready to give more to yourself and to the world. Yeah. So glad that you had such a empowering experience in Pi. Now you're going back home. Are you ready to face the real world? Because like for me, like Pi has a certain magic, you know, either connection or either with an intimate partner. That magic exists between when we are interacting with the nature here. But I also been told that magic is not going to last.
Magic is not going to last. Wow. I believe magic is everywhere in every single moment, but we need to tune into it. We need to consciously create space for magic to be felt and expressed in that moment. Like I work in an underground mine, and I have had truly some of the most deepest experiences of my life, a kilometer underground in an environment that's loud and dusty, and you know, there's a lot of aggressive unconscious energy in that space. So if I can experience like deep and profound moments in that environment, it's possible for anyone to experience those kind of moments in any place. But the key is to create the space. It's like if you want to see and feel the magic in life, it's oftentimes it's not going to just appear before your very eyes if you're not tuned in. You got to tune in and create the space. Be present, be grounded, take a breath, slow down, like just slow the fuck down, man. Like, and magic is literally everywhere. And I feel like coming to a place like Pi, there's an opportunity to see it on a more everyday sort of level, because there's so much of it here, and there's so much groundedness and openness in the field here anyway, that you naturally tune into that energy, so you start seeing and noticing more. But the key then is like, it's like, you know, when you do yoga or meditation or breath work in a group setting or in a space, it's like, this is the gym, this is the place where you go to work out. The key is, how are you embodying this in your everyday life? Sure, it's really easy to see magic when you're staring at a sunset behind a mountain with people you love in a beautiful country like Thailand, but how do you translate that when you're driving on the freeway to work? Like, can you sense the magic? Can you feel like the existence of everything that is? Like, you're holding your steering wheel of your car. Like, how is this even a thing? How does this thing even exist? How am I even here sitting in this car right now? Like, there's so many things that have happened in the infinite period of time that's been since whatever happened that made this a reality, that it's almost a miracle. It is a miracle, actually, because like, you think of every single choice that's been made throughout time by our parents, by our grandparents or great grandparents. If one of those guys had made one decision differently at any point in their life, like, what if they turned left on that street instead of right? Then they wouldn't have met someone, and then they wouldn't have
We wouldn't have been here.
we wouldn't be here, you know, we wouldn't be here. And it's like, yeah, I mean, for example, my grandparents almost moved to Australia in the 70s, um, and they chose not to. And if they had chosen to, I wouldn't have been born. But they chose not to, which meant my dad met my mum, which meant I could be born. And now they live in Australia anyway, and I get to live there too. Um, so yeah, this is one very little example, but you think how many of these examples exist throughout all of time that have led to, like, even you and I sitting here in this moment. Like, what are the chances, if you could predict when you were born, that we would meet in Pi and do a podcast together? It's so unlikely, like beyond any fraction that you could ever imagine. And yet here it is happening. So for me, that is the miracle of life. Like, you know, you have no idea what is going to happen. And to me, at least in this time, it feels like there's a certain element of destiny, an unraveling of what is meant to be. And we just need to trust in the flow of it and surrender to this idea of control, because control's an illusion. Like, we think, oh yeah, I've got my cushy 9 to 5 job. I've got my nice car. I've got my house. I'm in control of everything. Like, you have no idea what can happen 5 minutes from now, next week, next month. Like, there's no, like, the idea of control is complete illusion. And I know for me, like, any time that I've really trusted and open to the flow that the life is taking me, or the flow that life is moving through me, I've always been supported. And it's often come from the most, like, unexpected place. You know, a person I haven't spoken to in ages, or meeting someone I've never met before. Like, for example, I have this dream to go to Peru and learn about cacao, because I love cacao. It's one of my most favorite things in the world, is connecting to gratitude through cacao. I do this every day. And I met this beautiful man called Jake through my friend Rowan. We had a beautiful conversation, and then he left Pi and messaged me to say I was welcome to come to Peru. And I just had this thought, like, I wonder if I could get a job in Peru. And I messaged this guy, and he's like, yeah, bro, I can support you getting a job on a cacao farm. Let me know when you want to come, and we'll sort it out. I was like, what are the chances of that happening? Like, 2 weeks ago, this guy did not exist in my experience. He did not exist. And then I meet this guy, we hang out for one night, have amazing conversations. And now all of a sudden this doorway has opened up for me to do something that I've dreamed of for a number of years now. And it's like, if you're in a place, and I speak to all people listening right now, like, if you're ever in a place where you don't feel like something is possible, or you don't know what's coming, like, I can tell you, I promise you from personal experience, that you are literally one meeting away from your life completely changing. All it takes is for you to be open to meeting one person at the right time, and your whole life can radically transform. And you'll be like, how the hell did that happen? And this has happened to me so many times, especially in the last 12 months, like, meeting people that have, like, radically altered the course of my life, and brought up stuff for me to work on, and, you know, introduced me to opportunities and things that I might be interested in. It's like, yeah, if I'm closed and I'm not looking with awareness and curious about people, those opportunities will never come. So take an interest in people, ask people questions, be kind, be loving, choose your heart, follow your heart, and I promise everything will be just fine.
That's so cool. Oh, wow. But you know what? You are your biggest guru. You are taking yourself to places that you feel right. You should thank yourself, for being open to meet people, to allow people to influence you, to let them change your life. Wow, so nice. Thank you. Our podcast is coming to an end. Can you tell our audience where they can find you or follow your journey? Anything like that?
Good question. I mean, I have Instagram. I don't post a whole lot. My Instagram is Kraigles22, Kraigles 22. Yeah, I post usually just like reflections of my life on there, and it's mostly just for my own reflection to look back on in time. But sometimes there's some interesting stuff there, sometimes not. You can find me there. That's really it at the moment. I'm going to be starting to run my own cacao ceremonies in Australia when I get back, and I've got a lot of ideas of things that I want to create and how I want to create community and things like that. But it's mostly all in the sort of ideas realm at the moment. So yeah, watch this space. I'll be doing breathwork, facilitation, running cacao ceremonies. I'm just about to buy myself a harmonium so I can start learning kirtan and running my own kirtan events, which feels really, really special to me. And yeah, for me, like my life and my aim to serve is going to be about demonstrating and embodying how to live from the heart to inspire and support others to do the same for themselves, because only we can make the choice for ourselves. But sometimes we need to see that it's possible. And if I can do that, if I can overcome and unravel the life that I've had to get to this place of deep connection to life and to myself and to my community, then it's possible for anyone, because I'm not special. Well, I am. We're all special, but there's nothing special about me that gives me a special privilege to have this. Like, it's possible for anyone. It's possible for anyone. And yeah, I'm so open to talking about this at any point with anyone, if anyone wants to talk. I love a chat, if you didn't notice. So yeah. Thank you for having me.
So thank you so much. Yeah. And you will be based in Perth for doing all these. We just find Kraigles in Perth.
Yeah, so
change your handle.
Yeah, so I recently moved from Perth down to a little coastal town called Dunsborough, which is it's a magical place. The beaches and the people really amazing, and there's not so much traffic as being in the city. So my plan for now is to go back to Perth, to start running little events and just getting more comfortable in that space of being seen by groups in my authenticity, and not necessarily people that I've done a retreat with, but strangers, fostering some sort of community from that space. And then I'm feeling probably come June or July, I'm just going to quit my job and I'm going to go traveling and just allow life to do what it wants with me.
Wow, so beautiful. I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you everyone for tuning in this podcast. I had an amazing time with Greg. Just to see his eyes all like lighting up, his energy is vibrating. It's so good feeling. All right, so I see you on the flip side, and thank you. Namaste.